Hi, Dr. Yas here. In this video, I want to talk about one of the most common symptoms people get that the orthopedic industry uses as a means of justifying you need surgery at the knee. And that is the famous pop sound and feeling that occurs at the knee after you're doing some activity. Maybe you're kneeling down and go to try to stand up. Maybe you're walking up a flight of steps. Some sort of activity where you're going through range of motion at the knee and all of a sudden you feel a pop and then you get pain at the knee. For many orthopedists, the mere identification of you saying that you felt a pop is enough of a rationale to promote the idea that you've torn your meniscus and you need surgery. Many of them will get an MRI. They'll find a torn meniscus presented and say, well, since I found the torn meniscus at the time you felt the pop, that justifies that the cause of the popping sensation was the torn meniscus. This is utter nonsense, pure ridiculousness. Let me just briefly explain the concept of the meniscus, and so you could understand why the mere feeling and hearing of a pop does not mean that a torn meniscus has occurred. So the meniscus is comprised of fibrocartilage. It sits between the thigh bone and lower leg bone. It acts as a cushioning to allow your weight to run through the knee joint when you're doing weight-bearing activities. It also maintains the space needed for the lower leg bone and the thigh bone to move to allow for normal range of motion. That's its purpose, right? So everybody's joint, you can try this yourself. Just simply straighten your knee and bend your knee all the way back, and you'll see through the range of motion there's no problem. You have full range of motion. There's no popping, and the meniscus is fine, right? So the meniscus exists and allows for full range of motion. So what can tear the meniscus? Well, if you've gone through normal range of motion, let's say you're kneeling down and maybe you bent your knee to 90 degrees. Well, the knee bends to 135 degrees. If you're going up a flight of stairs, geez, you're probably bending your knee 30, 40 degrees, still within the normal range of motion of the joint. So when you're feeling the pop, you're feeling the pop in the normal range of motion of the joint, right? We know that the joint is designed to go through normal range of motion. So how the hell can someone tell you that you tore a meniscus while you're in the normal range of motion? It's foolishness, nonsense. The meniscus can only tear if you hyperextend the knee, excessively straighten the knee, hyperflex the knee, excessively bend the knee, or weight bear and twist suddenly on your knee, which typically takes an external force, like within football when a guy is getting tackled. Going up a flight of stairs, kneeling down, none of those have an external force. So when you're feeling that pop, it is not the meniscus that is tearing. It is your hamstring straining. The hamstring is the muscle that sits at the back of the thigh and actually attaches to the knee on the sides. So what's happening is you're suddenly requiring an increased level of force to go up the flight of stairs or to stand up from kneeling or any of these type things. You're doing it, you're hearing the popping and feeling the popping at the time of activity. All that's happening is you're requiring a force load that is greater than the hamstring is able to take. Bam! It suddenly strains. It thickens. You feel a popping because there's a sudden straining of the muscle. The pain that's experienced is at its attachment point near the knee, not at the knee joint. In almost every single case I've ever treated over 27 years, when someone felt a pop, it was their hamstring. I have stopped thousands from getting knee surgeries for false diagnoses of meniscal tears, with or without an MRI, because I was able to present the fact that the meniscus couldn't have torn during the time that the pop was felt or the pain or the popping sensation was heard, that in fact it was a muscle straining. If in fact an MRI did find a meniscal tear, that is a degenerative tear that existed well before the pop. If you had had an MRI before you had that popping sensation, you would have found the meniscal tear. It was degenerative. Most are degenerative. They're not acute, occurring from a specific incident. So ladies and gentlemen, from now on, if you ever feel a popping or hear a popping at your knee, stop believing that it is a meniscal tear. That is pure lunacy. It is a straining of the hamstring. If you were to simply look at the symptoms presented after, you would see your hamstring is weak. If I pressed on your hamstring tendons or on the muscle itself, you would see it's weak. The difficulty in weight bearing would be an indication of weakness, and most likely you would still have full range of motion, indicating that there's nothing wrong with the meniscus. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, start understanding your body. Start understanding what symptoms represent, and stop listening to the freaking lunacy of a system that is designed to do surgery. You go to an orthopedic surgeon, he wants to or she wants to do surgery. Their understanding of the body is specifically in the area of structure. So they are going to identify a structure as the cause of your symptoms. They have no choice. That's what they're educated to do. You've got to be smarter. You have to protect yourself. And the way to protect yourself is understand the things that happen in your body and understand the symptoms that occur. That is the essence of the Yas method. Diagnosing the cause of symptoms by interpreting the body's presentation of symptoms. If you like this video and it's starting to make sense to you and it's sinking in, how to understand what's causing your pain, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, Dr. Mitchell Yas on YouTube, please subscribe. This is the stuff you're going to get. Applicable information that helps you understand what's causing your pain and how to resolve it. If it's muscular, you just have to do some sort of targeted strength training with progressive resistance and you will resolve that pain within weeks. If you want to contact me about your specific issue, please do so at my email address, drmitch@mitchellyas.com, drmitch@mitchellyas.com. If you want to set up a Skype or a Zoom session so I could evaluate you and help you get to the cause of your symptoms and resolve them, same thing. Contact me at my email address, drmitch@mitchellyas.com. Let's get smart. Let's start understanding our symptoms and resolving them. 98% of cases, it's muscle. That's not going to be found by any medical specialty. They're not educated or trained to do so. You need the Yas method. For now, there's Dr. Mitchell Yas wishing you a pain-free, fully functional life. Bye-bye for now.